Hi guys, good afternoon. Melanie here, Skyroom 1982. Today's topic will be fills. Being either too tight, fill adjustments, what to fill, you know. So if you have Lapband, which I do, I have a 10cc allergen Lapband, you are well aware that you have to get fill adjustments with the Lapband. Unlike probably, I don't know, gastric bypass, sleeve, where they kind of like, you know, rearrange some stuff in there and stuff. The Lapband is totally different, and how we get the restriction is we have to go to the doctors and get fill adjustments. And with the fill adjustments, it's a needle that gets poked into your stomach, and it's filled with saline, okay? And that's how it goes. That's how you get restriction. It just, with the saline that they put, it puts the band tighter, you know, the thing around your stomach. And I'm sorry if this video is going to be all over the place. I'm kind of going freestyle here, and I didn't write anything down, but I wanted to put it out there because I actually saw a video today where the girl too was too tight, and she was afraid of going to doctors because she thought that she was going to regain weight. Okay, and that's not good to think. You know, I want to go ahead and explain that. Okay, so with the band, it's very tricky. Okay, this is why the Lapband is probably one of the hardest weight loss surgery tools out there. Okay, at one point you could probably feel it restricted, and then I don't know, maybe a month later you don't feel the restriction anymore. Okay, sometimes you're able to eat certain foods. Let's say I ate something today, and then that same thing that I eat today, I'm not going to be able to eat it tomorrow. So it's very inconsistent. The band is very inconsistent. Okay. So when do you know when you have to get a fill? If you're more hungry than usual, or when you're able to eat more than what you want to eat. You know what I'm saying? If you can't control if you can't control what you're eating, you know, and you're eating too much of it. You know, a lot of people like to go ahead and measure half a cups. I never did that. I try to be careful, you know what I'm saying, but I've never been the one to go ahead and measure exactly, oh, what's a quarter cup, let me eat only that much, you know. I just, you know, I ate until I got satisfied, you know, and I kept my portion small, you know, and that was it, you know. Okay, so if you know my backstory, you would know that I didn't get restriction until maybe 2 to 3 weeks before I actually hit goal. My goal weight was 160 pounds, and the 3 weeks before, I went into my doctor's and got a fill, and I was pushed all the way up to 6 cc's, and Lord and behold, oh my God, I know what restriction is. I was restricted a little too much to the point where I was not able to consume any meat. So what did that mean? And I don't eat seafood, guys, so that was out of question. My protein came from meat. I was still able to drink my milk. I was still able to eat some of my proteins, even though I didn't really like, I don't like the protein after a while. I just got sick of it, you know what I'm saying? So I was able to, I started eating lighter foods. So that was no good. And then every so often I was throwing up. And I had the mentality thinking, okay, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. You know, some days were good, other days were bad. Like I said, the band is so inconsistent, it's not even funny. So it came down to me having more days than good days, meaning where I would have days that I would just throw up and throw up and throw up and throw up, and then the next day it'll be the same, and then one day I'll have a break. You know, and it got to the point where it was so bad where I used to carry a bag in my car just in case I had to throw up. And when you get stuck, okay, you would never want to be there. I mean, you never want to go there. I mean, like literally when you just like have that foaming, at first I wasn't able, when I first was getting my stuck episodes, I wasn't able to get my food back up. So it was kind of like foamy and slimy, and that's what I was throwing up, you know. And my stuck episodes could last all the way up to 24 hours, no joke. That could easily happen to me any day. But after time, I realized, you know what, this is unhealthy, especially if you have family around, guys. It's so hard for your family to see that, and they're all just gonna say, oh, especially, I come from a Hispanic background. Oh, take away that Lapand, and you're always getting sick. What are you doing to yourself and stuff like that? So it's extremely hard for you to hide it. If you're keeping your lap band too in secret, it's extremely hard to hide it when you are over restricted and you're not able to hide it because you're constantly running to the bathroom and just like throwing up. So the main point of the video is that, Mila said it best in her last video: too tight is not right. I think that whole thing, that whole drama that happened to me back then, this was about 3 years ago, like maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. I would probably say 3 years ago. I kind of like traumatized me. I was actually afraid to eat. I was afraid to eat. I was afraid of my band. I didn't want it to get to a point, and I don't want people to get to a point where they'd be like, they hate their band, because they always want it to be tight just to lose weight. Do it the healthy way. Do it where you reach your sweet spot, okay? When there's a point where you don't, throw up your food. I mean, it's okay if it happens every so often, because sometimes you just do something like that and you don't chew your food and you just end up throwing it back up. But do it to a point where you don't get yourself sick. Because I even said it in my video at one point where I was like, oh my God, this lap band is kind of like being anorexic, where I'm just like throwing up every so often. I got myself to that point where I was just way too restricted and I couldn't even eat meat, So don't get to that point, you know what I'm saying? And, all right, this is why people are afraid to get unfill. I was scared. I was scared. When they told me first of all, I had an emergency unfill. Yeah, I got to that point where I was already, you know what, Mel, this is it. My band told me, you're tight and you're still, eating stuff that you're not supposed to. I was eating corn, and that's it. It put a hole to it, and I was like, I was viciously throwing up for 24 hours, where I had to end up going to the emergency room and getting an unfill. That was a terrible experience. When you're at that point, it could bring you down to your knees. You would cry hysterically like a baby. You'll feel like you're having like a heart attack because it's just right here. You know what I'm saying? And the pain is too much for anyone to handle. Again, you don't want to get there. The results of it prolonging, as long as you keep pushing it off and pushing it off, because some people just keep pushing it off, and they'd be like, I hear stories where they'd be like, I can't even get fluid down. If you're not able to get fluid down, you need to go in. It's vital that you go in. If you can't even get water down, if you can't get yogurt down, hello, that's your signal. Go in. So when I went in, automatically, they said, you need an unfill, and we're going to unfill your band. I was like, no, I had like the only attitude, and I was like, put me under fluoroscopy. Let me know if I'm too tight. Of course, they made me drink that barium, and I was kind of being a biatch, okay, because they told me we need to unfill your band, and we need to unfill it half. We need to unfill half of your saline, okay? So from 6 cc's, they were going to put me down to 3 cc's. And I was pissed. I was like, no, put me under fluoroscopy. Let me know I'm too tight. I just unfill me 1 cc or 0.5, just don't unfill me so much. So I was already mad because I had that same logic of thinking, oh my God, I worked so hard to actually get the restriction. I waited, 7 months, because at 8 months I was already at goal. So all this time I was like working myself, I basically exercised and dieted, and I had that mentality that I'm going to do this, I put myself there, And I lost the weight practically on my own, right? So when I finally had the restriction, 7 months out, I didn't want to let it go. I was like, oh my God, this is what it is or whatever. I just didn't want to let go of the restriction. I'm like, I finally know what restriction is, right? So I didn't want to let it go because it was the first time that I was there. So I argued my way, but of course I ended up throwing the barium that they gave me when they did the fluoroscopy. So they was like, they didn't even see it go down. So they was like, oh my God, the barium is not even going down. So they sent me right back up. We need to unfill your band half of your saline. They brought me down to 3 cc's. Immediately, I felt whatever was there, the corn, go down. Immediately, and you can feel it when they unfill you. They was like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you an appointment in 2 weeks. Come in. We'll fill you, but not at that level. You know what I'm saying? We'll give you another fill. So, knowing what I know today, I think that it's very, very important for you not to be feisty with your doctor. If they need to empty half of your fluids out, which they probably would, okay? In such cases, I've heard people being emptied all the way, but it's usually half of your saline. When you're having a stuck episode like that, they empty half of your saline out, or where you're not able to eat any food, or or you're not able to get liquids, they empty out half of your saline. Why do they do this? They do this because you need your body to heal. Right now, your body is so swollen or whatever. Let's say they do unfill you 1 cc. Your body's still going to be swollen. You're probably still not going to be able to get anything down. So they need to unfill you at that level because you need time to eat, or you need not time, but you get what I'm saying. I mean, like, you need time to heal. Okay, and an important factor to know about all of this is if you're eating slider foods, it's not good. That's going to be unhealthy. Okay, if you're only able to drink liquids or eat yogurts and stuff, that's also unhealthy, because then what calories are you putting in your body? You're not going to be able to burn anything, so you're not going to be able to lose any weight, So these are things that you have to really consider, okay? All right, why people are so scared to get unfilled? What was my logic behind thinking? Like I said, I worked my way so much. I finally got the restriction. Oh my God, now somebody's going to take that away from me. And now I have to work again to get there. You know what I'm saying? But it's better to be healthy to be unhealthy. You understand? Because the result of it all, prolonging, is that you could get dehydrated and you're going to end up in the hospital room. So what else was I going to say? What was another logic behind that? Your doctor is probably kind of strict with fills. That could be another reasoning. The video today, the girl was scared of gaining the weight back. Honey, you're not going to gain the weight back. I mean, okay, yeah, you probably can. But listen, if you had this weight loss surgery tool, right, it's because you have to change yourself mentally. Put yourself there that you're going to get another fill soon, probably in the next 2 weeks, okay? You need to give your body time to heal. You do not want to keep being unhealthy. You do not want to keep throwing up. Okay, and if you do get your fill, don't go back up to that level. If you were at 6 cc's, don't go back to 6 cc's. Go maybe at 5.7, you need to find your sweet spot. And if it takes getting fills and unfills and fills and unfills, then so be it. You're not going to know until you actually get there. And you're not going to know exactly what is your sweet spot until probably if they probably even do it under fluoroscopy. You know what I'm saying? So the doctors don't even know if that's going to be too tight for you, because everybody is different. Also, another thing, this video is going to be very long. I'm already on 14 minutes. But also another thing is, like I said, the band is very inconsistent. You could be good. I mean, you finally see that you're at your sweet spot, and in the next 2 months, you're going to probably lose it, and you're probably going to need another fill, Another thing that I wanted to bring up is that don't ever think, okay, because I said this. I said I would never bring myself to be at 6 cc's again. So I've always, for about almost 2 years or 3 years maybe, I stayed out of being at 6 cc's, and basically I was just hungry all the time, you know, and I'm like, okay, I have to go. I was at 5, I think I was at 5.5, right, for a very, very long time. And I said, I'm not going to go to 6 cc's. When I went back to get another fill, they said, we're going to fill you and it's going to be 6 cc's. I was like, I can't do that because I was at 6 cc's and I was unable to eat meat, you know, and I didn't want to put my body through that again because I'm in maintenance and I want to still be able to eat, you know, and I'm like, I just don't want to be that restricted. And she said, what's going to happen is that your body changes all the time, you know, and it's always changing. So where you was too restricted 2-3 years ago at 6 cc's, it's not going to be the same now. And I swore up and down that I'm not going to believe this thing or whatever, but I'm like, you know what? F it. I'm going to get it done. Got it done. Did it. I was just like amazed. I was like, oh my God, I can still eat. I was like, how can it be so different compared to two years ago? I totally did not get that. You know, I have a friend too. You know, she was at way higher than me. She was probably at 6.3, 6.4, you know, and she stood there for a very long time. All of a sudden, she had a stuck episode. They had to unfill her. Now, she can't go past, I think, 5.4 or 5.5. I'm like, oh my God, that's so crazy. How is it that you were going to be, how is it that you were at 6.5 for such a long time, and now you can't get past 5.5? Because if you get past that point, you're too stuck. I mean, it's just crazy how your body readjusts itself. But anyway, I felt that this video was important to make because I don't want anybody to get to that point where you're too restricted and you have that mentality of being like, I'm not going to get an unfill because my doctor is too strict with fills, or where I think that I'm going to gain too much weight. You got the surgery to be healthy. Don't do it the unhealthy way. Don't do it to yourself because you're going to end up hating your lap band. Trust me, okay? And you're going to get sick of it and your family's going to get upset with you because I've been there, done that, and I'm just like, you know, I hear a lot of stories and I see a lot of videos and I don't want anybody to go through it, okay? So I hope that this helped anybody. I know, you know, it could help a lot of newbies out there or people that are within that first year, you know. You also don't have to go every month to get a fill as well, you know. It's only when you need it, guys. Please know that. It's only when you need it. Don't rush to get fills, you know, because you're going to get to that point where it's going to be too much, you know, and it's just like you're going to be playing this game where it's like, fill, you get a fill, you get an unfill, you get a fill, you get an unfill. It's just a constant game. So be slow with it, you know, get little fills, you know, and just play with it, you know. So just learn how your body works and learn from the different fill levels. All right, guys, have to go. I didn't want to make it too long, but thank you for sticking out with me this long if you have. Love you guys. Bye.